So last day we've just been talking about jump statement. Oh, sorry. Just a minute, guys. So, well, very good morning, everyone. Okay. So last class we've just been talking about the jump statements. The first thing is go to, and I just shown you how to go to will behave for you. It will jump from go to the label. It will jump from the go to, from there to the label. It will jump for you. Second thing is break. We talked about the break statement from here to here. Wherever you say break, out of the loop. Third one, continue. Continue will take the control directly to the iteration. Continue will take the control directly to the iteration where I plus plus. This is the iteration part and will take you to the iteration part here. Okay. And one more thing. Yeah, we have been talking about return. And coming to return, what I explained here, return will take the control out of the method directly. Out of the method. So if you want to jump out of a method, we just go for using the return statement. So these are the four options I have explained for you for transferring the control from one line to another line. If you want to jump out from one line to another line, these are the four different options what we have. Last day, where I stopped it, I've just been stopped at talking about a conversion method. One is parse, I said you. And the second one I said you, there is another method called as try parse. And I was demonstrating about that here. Just a minute. Solution. Yes. The 1068. Hold on, guys. The system resolution changed off. What option there? It's missing there. Okay, I'll adjust it later. We're writing a program here. What is the name? Table. Yeah. Yeah. This is where we stopped it in the last class here. We're talking on a table. What is this? We want to print. Oh, just a minute. What's the same? Auto adjustment should work. Okay. It's full size, no? Okay. Yeah. So this is where it just been stopped up. So we just use the parse method here. So parse. When we talk about this parse method, what did I say? A parse method converts a given string into a type on which the method is called. It will convert the given string into a type on which the method is called. And very importantly about this parse method will throw you an error if the given type is incompatible, if the given value is incompatible. So there, suppose if I give a decimal value or a character value or a string value or a boolean value, error comes. Already I showed you in the last class. Overflow. Last I shown you, it is an overflow exception which is going to come into picture when I try to perform a conversion like this. Now to resolve this problem, we are provided with another method called as try parse. What is that? Try parse. Try parse is the method. How do we use it? Look. Concentrate on this. How do we use the try parse method? How do you use the try parse method here? Okay. Say, suppose I'm writing string str is equals to 100. I want to convert this into integer. What will I do? Int I is equals to int dot parse str. Why did you declare I here? To capture the value. The converted value should be captured now. To capture the value, we declared I here. So this I is actually going to capture the value. So int I is equals to int dot parse of str. Now when I do this I will be capturing the appropriate value now. Are you clearer or not? So the result will come into where? I. The result comes to I. Okay, fine. But what is the problem here? If any error occurs, program will be abnormally terminated. That's a drawback, guys. Suppose tomorrow you have some 100 lines of code now. There is an error on line number 2. The program will stop there. Remaining 98 lines of code won't execute now if error comes. That is a danger. To overcome this, they given us another method called as try parse. Okay. How do we use that? Watch. Second option. Int dot try parse. Okay, now first str. Second, the second parameter, see, first parameter is str. You have multiple parameters here. What is the second parameter here? I is declared here to capture the value now. Yes or not? The declaration should be done here writing as out int I. Means what is the meaning? You know, it is an output. It is a array return. When you return, that is nothing but the output of the method which is coming into I now. Correct or not? Here we declare it, we capture it in a different style. How do you capture? We say out int I. The result will come into I now. What is the difference? No difference here. You declared I here, but here you declared I here. What is the difference, you know? Here, if you get an error, program will stop. But here, if you get an error, program will not stop. Program will not stop. Okay, program did not stop. But how do I know, sir? Conversion is success or failure? That is a big confusion now. How do I know this conversion is success or failure now? Understood me? It returns you a Boolean result now. That is the reason why. That is the reason why we are putting the I here. It returns a different result. What is that? A Boolean. It returns a Boolean. Okay? And this B will be true if conversion is successful. Okay? B will be false if conversion. That's it. Now you can know in the code now. Conversion success or failure. Conversion success returns true. If it is true, what do you do? You'll proceed to the next action. If it is false, you will display a message to user telling conversion failed. Got it? Yes or not? But I could see only blank faces, all of you. Understood? Okay. So that's what, sir. That's the specialty of the try parse method. Okay. So now let me come back into my code now. I'll use try parse here. How to use? UN dot try parse. Now what is the first parameter? String. In the place of string, you can directly write console.readline, comma. Second parameter. Second parameter. What did I say? Bring this declaration. Bring this declaration here and use out keyword. Out uindex. What is that out? I will explain in object-oriented programming. Okay. Just for the time being, understand this is a result, output. That is the output. And now you can capture it now. How? Bool status equals to. Bool status equals to. If status is true, what is the meaning? If status is true, what is the meaning? Conversion success. If status is false, what is the meaning? Conversion failed. Okay. For example, for the time being, I'm writing console dot write line status. I'm just going to print the result to you. Okay. So compile it. CSC table.cs table. I'm giving 100. True. I'm giving 34.56 false. Understood or not? 34.56 is false. Or I'm trying to give a negative value, -5. No error in the code. Did you notice? So here I'm just going to write a condition now. What condition? If status is equals to, don't proceed now. If status is equals to false, don't proceed. Simply I will write a message. What message? Console dot write line. What? Please enter unsigned integer values only. I'm just telling please enter unsigned integer values only, and I'll simply say return. I'll say return again now. So if at all you enter any unsigned integer value, what will happen? It will print the message and come out of the code. Okay now. Okay, just watch. What is it? And not close it. Thank you. Say entered 5. No issues. I entered -5. Please enter unsigned integer values only. I entered some decimal value. It is not proceeding from there because I used the return statement. The control is jumping out automatically. Am I clear, all of you? Yes or not? Anyhow, we have written the code for this already. What is it? 0 entered also, nothing will happen. If 1 entered also, nothing will happen. Yesterday we written the logic for all these things. If 2 entered, fine, it will print. So you'll get the multiplication tables from which number? From 2 onwards, you will get it. 2 greater than 2. Any number it will give you. Multiplication table. Okay. So guys, are you clearer? Understood about the try-parse method? Yes or not? Okay. Yes, there are 3 days back someone asking about try-parse. I'll tell you here. I'll tell you about everything. Situationally, I'll talk here because you just remember something. I can't tell like that. Situation should come to explain you about each and every concept. Okay. So situationally, we'll talk about each and everything. Understood? Huh? Okay. So don't ask me. You remember something and don't ask me there. I won't tell like that. I'll tell you in appropriate situation only. Okay. Otherwise, if you see, when you understand the situation and try to find the resolution, that will be in your mind. Without a situation, if I tell you, that won't be in your mind. That's why I don't tell. So now you understood the real situation there. What is that? If wrong numbers are entered, error coming now. How to resolve the problem? So now the solution is try-parse. So don't use parse method. Use the try-parse method. Parse, try-parse, both are same. Both will convert the string into a type. But parse will give you error if conversion fail. Try-parse will not give you error if the conversion fail. Try-parse will only return you a Boolean status telling you conversion success, conversion failure. That's it. Any doubts? Understood about the 4 jump statements? First one, go to. If you want to use go to, what you need? A label. Go to label, control will jump there. Second one, break. Where do we use it? Switch case, loops. Switch case and loops. Where we use continue? Continue. Only loops. Continue is used only loops. And return. In a method to jump out of the method. In a method to jump out of the method. Array, return has one more benefit also. Not only jumping out, it is also capable of carrying a result outside. Not only jumping out, it is also capable of carrying a result outside. A result can be carried outside by using the return statement. Okay. So this is all about this one. Okay. Fine. Next. The next thing what we are going to learn today is, guys, arrays. The next concept is arrays. What's an array? You learned about arrays in your C language. Define. Array is a collection of similar type values. Array is a collection of similar type value. Array. It is a collection of similar type values that are stored in a sequential order. That is, either in the form of a row or rows and columns. So we can store them either in the form of a row or either in the form of rows and columns also. Okay. You're 100% right, guys. Array is a collection of similar type value, but still I want to change the definition here. I want to change that, not the definition here. I want to change, not collection of, use the word set of. Don't use the word collection of. Is it clear what I said? In C language, we learn collection only. When my teacher has taught me is collection only, but I'm changing the definition. I'm changing the word as set of. Reason, because in modern programming languages like Java, Python, and .NET, we have a concept called collections separately. We have a concept called collections separately. So array is not a collection. Collection is different. Understood my point? That is why I changed the word as set of. Anyhow, set is only correct word here. You open the curly braces and write the values now. Sets. What we learned in mathematics is sets only now will be in the curly braces. So set is a correct word. Okay, let's use the word as set of. It is a set of similar type values that are stored in a sequential order. That is either in the form of a row or rows and columns. Okay, just see. Just like other languages, just like many other languages, in C# also, we access the values of an array. How do we access, guys? By using index. By using index, which starts from, come on, 0 and ends at n minus 1. N minus 1, where n is number of items in the array. Where n represents the number of items in the array. No difference here. The same thing we learned in C language also. C language also same behavior. Java same behavior. C++ same behavior. C# also same behavior. No difference in that. Array index always starts from 0 and set n minus 1. Okay. Next. In C#, arrays can be declared as fixed length or dynamic. Fixed length or dynamic. Okay. A fixed length array can store a specified number of values, whereas dynamic arrays can store any number of values. That is, they can auto resize. They can auto resize when new values are added to them. See, arrays are two types, guys. Fixed length arrays and dynamic arrays. What are fixed length arrays? Fixed length arrays means you need to tell the size of this array at the time of declaration. Declaration time, it will ask you the size you need to tell. 5 or 10 or 20, whatever you tell, fixed. That's all. But once you tell, that is fixed. Just like our fixed length types. Yesterday, when I explained about stack for you, when it is allocating the memory, if you ask for 4 bytes, we'll allocate 4 bytes. 8 bytes, we'll allocate 8 bytes. 16 bytes, we'll allocate. But once allocated, cannot be resized again. Fixed length arrays are also same. Once allocated, cannot be changed again. Means at the time of declaration, you said 10. Yes, 10. That's all. Cannot be increased. Then what is the second type of arrays? Dynamic arrays. What are dynamic arrays? You know, these arrays have a beautiful feature of auto resizing. They have a beautiful feature of auto resizing. You keep on adding the values, it will keep on increasing the size. I don't require to bother about increasing the size at all. That is completely performed implicit. That is implicitly auto resized. I am not at all responsible. Keep adding the values. Okay. Now answer my question. You learned arrays in C language now? Fixed length, variable length. Fixed length, dynamic. You learned about arrays in C. Fixed length, dynamic. Fixed length. The arrays what we learned in the C language are fixed length, guys. The arrays what you have learned in the C language are fixed length. All those arrays are fixed length arrays. Okay. And what are we talking right now is also fixed length arrays only. What are we talking right now also? Fixed length arrays only. Oh, now also we're talking about fixed length arrays. Yes, that's what I'm telling you. Now also I'm teaching you about fixed length arrays only. Okay. So now what about the dynamic arrays, sir? We'll talk about this, the dynamic arrays going forward. We'll talk about the dynamic arrays going forward. But now we are not talking about dynamic arrays. And what we are talking right now is also about the fixed length arrays only. Okay, now? How do you declare them? How do you declare them? Say, basically, the first kind of arrays are single dimensional arrays. These arrays will store the data in the form of a row. These arrays will store the data in the form of a row. I said you don't look into the notes. Concentrate on the screen. Okay, don't look into the notes. So these arrays will store what? In the form of a row. The data will be stored in the form of a row basically. Okay, in one single line. How do you declare them? Remember how we declared arrays in C and C++? and C languages, if you want to declare an array, how do you declare, int ARR of 10 is how you declare. Yes or not? And remember all of you, this is declaration and initialization. This is declaration and initialization. But when you come to Java and C# languages, when you come to Java and C# languages, how do you declare an array? Watch it. Int ARR is equals to new int of 10 is how the array declaration will be there. And remember, this is declaration and initialization. The syntax changed. The syntax changed. And the reason for changing the syntax, it's a drawback in the old languages. And to resolve the drawback, they changed the syntax now. What is the drawback, The drawback is declaration and initialization cannot be separated. Declaration and initialization cannot be separated. But I can do now. How, sir? Int ARR. What is this? Declaration. ARR is equals to new int of 10. What is that? Did you understand me, all of you? The advantage with this is, what is that? In our older languages, declaration and initialization cannot be separated. But when you come to modern languages, declaration and initialization can be separated. So you'll have a doubt also. What the doubt is, sir? What is the advantage of separation? If I don't separate, what will happen? If I separate, what advantage do I have? Did you get my question or not? Sir, if I don't separate, what will happen? If I separate, what is the advantage for me? Okay, I'll tell you. Watch. I'm writing a class like this here, class test. And this class I'm writing in which language? C++ language. Okay, not C# or Java, C++ language. Now in this, I want to define three functions. Void, fun1. Some code in it. Let's not, some logic here. Some logic here. Same way, let me define you two more. Function2, function3. Yeah, this is the class. In C++, class will end with a semicolon. In C++, class will end with a semicolon. We put a semicolon. This is a class. How many functions are there? 3 functions. Now, in function 1 and function 2, I wanted to use an integer array. I want to use one integer array with a size of 1000. I want to use an integer array with a size of 1000. Now tell me, should I declare that array under each function locally, or should I declare the array one time on the top of the class globally? Which one do you suggest? 2 times locally or one time globally? Local or global? Global. Why? Array, local declare multiple copies. Why? I want to declare it only for one time globally. Understood my point or not? I want to declare it only for one time globally. So where I'm declaring on the top, int ARR of 1000. So I just 1000. Now I can use this array in function 1 also, function 2 also. Both the 2 places I can use the array. Is it clear? Okay. Now this class contains how many functions in it? 3 functions. Next, I'm writing a main here. C++ now. So simply void main. After that, you will create the object of the class, test obj. What is the obj? Object of the class. And now you want to call the function. I'm calling it, guys. I'm calling obj.fun3. I'm calling this function. Which function? Fun3. Are you clear? Yes, I want to call that function only. I don't want to call 1 and 2. I want to call 1 and 2 later somewhere, but now I want to call only function 3. To call that, you created the object of the class, correct? Yes or not? You did not call function 1, function 2. Okay? Now answer my question. Where we consumed the array, I said you? I want to consume the array where I said? In function 1 and function 2, not in function 3. Now which function I called? Louder. Now my question is the array initialized or not? That is the question. Is the array initialized or not? Yes or no? Yes, it is initialized. But don't you think it is foolish now? What is foolish? You are not using the array and you are initializing the array now. Where the array is used here? Function 1, function 2. Function 1, function 2 are not called. What is called? Function 3. But still array is initialized. Is it not going to waste your memory? That is the drawback I said here. We cannot separate declaration from initialization. Because we cannot separate the declaration from initialization, once I declare it on the top, you use it or don't use, memory allocation will be performed and will be wasting you the memory. 2000 bytes of space is allocated for the array now. 2000 bytes of space is allocated for the array. Why, sir? In C language, int is 2 bytes only. In C sharp, int is 4 bytes. But in C++ and C, it is only 2 bytes. So it is 2000 bytes of memory. Not using at all, but allocating the memory. Is it wasting the resources or not? And to resolve this problem only, in Java and C sharp, they introduced the concept of separating declaration from initialization. Suppose if you write the same code with C sharp now, if this is a C sharp class, okay, first thing is no semicolon in the last. And this main will be inside the class or outside the class? Inside the class. I need to bring the main inside the class and make it as static. This should be made as static. Okay. Now, what you do, you will only be declaring the array. How? Int ARR. I don't tell any size. I'm declaring the array, that's all. Okay. Then where is it initialized here? This array gets initialized inside of the function. Where is it initialized? Inside of the function. So if the function is called, then only array gets initialized. Function not called, array not initialized. Point clear? Now which function am I calling? Is the array initialized or not initialized? Not initialized. It's not initialized. When is it initialized, sir? You call function 1 or you call function 2. Then your arrays will be initialized. If you call function 3, array is not initialized now. So did you understand the advantage of separating the declaration and initialization from each other or not? If you cannot separate the declaration from initialization, what is the problem? You consume or don't consume, memory is allocated. But if you can separate it, memory allocation is done only when it is consumed, but not when it is not consumed. That is the biggest advantage of separating declaration from initialization. So modern programming languages have excellent memory management compared with the older languages. Understood my point or not? Modern programming languages have excellent memory management options compared with the older one. Older one are not that good like the new one. New are very, very better and designed like memory management. Everything is properly designed for you in this. See guys, the mistakes here, when you write anything for the first time, you don't know the problem. But going forward, your experience make it much more better. You cook something today. You want to cook now. You're cooking something today. Day one, it may not be good in taste, but you'll understand the mistakes and you try to rectify it second time, third time. After 10 times you cook, you'll become an expert. Yes or not? So same thing only I'm telling you here also. Initially, they don't know the problems. So later on, going forward, new languages are giving you the good memory management options which are not available in the old languages. So that's all about the advantage with separating declaration from the initialization. Okay now? Fine. Now coming back. Yes, guys. Demo this, not required. Yeah, look. So this is how you declare it in C++, and this is how you declare it in Java and C sharp. First, declaration and initialization with default values. What is that? How many cells? Array, what is the size here? Then how many cells? 10 cells. All cells will have 0 as a default value. Why? Integer default value is 0, na? Integer default value is 0. So all are going to have 0 under them. Okay, that's what. With the default values. Here also. Initialization with default values. And do you remember? You can also create an array like this. We learned this also in C. What is that, sir? Int ARR is equals to, open the curly brace, and then you can give a list of values. We learned about this also in the C language. We can give a list of values like this now. Okay. And this is also declaration and initialization only. But with did you understand? Not with the default values here. What is it? Given set of values. Where you're giving, you can give there. In the curly braces, you can give all the values you want. Whatever values you want, you can just give them. Say, third option is available for you in C language also. I not teach you newly here. But in C language, 2 options. But in C sharp, 3 options came. The first one is again divided into 2 again. Declaration, initialization, and separating declaration from initialization. Okay, now. So this is how you declare the array. Let's try them. Let's try them. Look here. I want to write a program. We'll name it as SDArray1.cs, single dimensional array. Okay. Using system class SDArray. Static void main. Let me declare an array with a size of 6. Int ARR is equals to new int of 6. I'm declaring an array. Int ARR is equals to new int of 6. Means you're declaring an array with a size of 6 now. And remember, I already said you, it will initialize with the default values. Initializes with? Means if you look at your array, that's how it is created. Array index starts with end set n minus 1. N is 6 now. So 0 to 5. And what are the default values? All are having zeros under them. We just see zeros under them. This is how the array is created. Understood or not? So it has default values now. What are the default values? Zeros, because it is an integer array. Okay, fine. Now I want to print this zeros only on screen now. I want to print the zeros only on screen. How to print? Console.writeline AR of 0, console.writeline AR of 1, console.writeline. I can print it like that now. Array 1 by 1 value I can pick now. AR of 0, AR of 1, AR of 2. I can pick each value individually. But problem is how to get, guys? ARR of 0, ARR of 1, ARR of 2, 3, 4, and 5. We'll print you all the zeros now. Tomorrow if you want to assign also, same way you can assign a new values also. But this is lengthy. It's going to be lengthy. Tomorrow if 30, 40 values are there, I cannot print 1 by 1 like this. So what is the best way you can print the values using for loop? The best way to access the values of an array is by using for loop. You can just use a for loop now, and with the help of a for loop, we can print up these values on screen now. Am I clear? Okay, how to use it? Okay, watch guys. I'm explaining you accessing values of a single dimensional array by using for loop. So what are we learning? Accessing values of a single dimensional array by using for loop. With the help of the for loop, how you can access the single dimensional array values? With the help of a for loop, how we can access the single dimensional array values? Okay, look. For int I is equals to, index starts from 0. Next, I less than 6. 0 to 5. I plus plus. I plus plus. Okay, now here I'm writing what? Console dot write line ARR of I. ARR of I. So it is nothing but ARR of 0, ARR of 1, ARR of 2, ARR of 3. Like this, all the 5 values will be printed. So tomorrow 20 values present also, no problem. 30 values present also, no problem. Okay, just observe. All zeros. Okay, now I wanted to print all these values on the same line, guys. Single dimensional array, na? It should be in row format. So I want to print in the same line. Okay, then use right. Use the right method. When you use the right method, it will print all the values in the same line now. Yes or not? Array, but not looking good, all the values, same line. So better I'll do one thing. I will use a concatenation operator and I'll use a space. I'm using spaces now. Okay, just see after printing it again, the command prompt is immediately printing off in the next line. To separate them, I just wanted to add array, making it look good, that's all. Console dot, that is clear, that's all. Clear the screen. Recompile, execute. Printing the output and afterwards you have a line break and then got it. Got it? Now see, this is the code I used for printing the values. Now how many statements are present inside the for loop? One only, na? There is only one line of code. So curly braces are mandatory or optional? Or optional. Remove it. Remove it, yeah. Simplify the code. How much you can simplify, that's all. So curly braces are optional now. One line, that's all. So I'm just printing. So did you understand how to access the values? This is nothing new. We learned about this in the C language also. But now I'm teaching you a new concept. What you know? Accessing values of a single dimensional array by using, yeah, yesterday we skipped that one. Remember? For each. What did I say? This is specially designed. This is specially designed in .NET. It is specially provided by .NET for accessing the values of arrays and collections. For accessing values from arrays and collections. They have designed it specially. What is that? For each loop. How do we use it? Concentrate on this. Yesterday I said you the syntax of it, yeah. Yeah. Look. For each, afterwards, type variable name in array name or collection name. For each, afterwards type means what type of values are it? What type of value? Integer value or character value or that you require to tell. Afterwards, name of your variable. In here write your array name. Here write your array name. Okay? Come on. I'm showing you. Watch. For each. Type name. What is the type? Integer. Name I. In array name ARR. That is it. For each int I in ARR. Now also I want to write one line of code only, guys. Now also I want to write one line. So I'm not using curly braces now also. So watch. Console dot write. Concentrate on this. I. Not ARR of I. What is it? I. Okay. And then console dot write line. Just this is a line break as a separator. Watch the output. How will it execute? I'll tell you. Watch the output. How will it execute? I'll tell you. Got the same output only. Watch. Both have printed the same output only. Did you notice? There is no difference in the output. Both of them are going to print the same output. Are you clear? What's your question? How get values? We get pass index value. Hey, listen here. First, listen. I will not tell you anything and you're confusing. Okay. So the question here that arises here is how a for each loop executes. How a for each loop executes. For each loop is especially designed. For each loop is especially designed for accessing values from arrays and collections. It is specially designed for accessing values from arrays and collections. What is the specialty of the loop, you know? If you give the array or a collection to the loop, if you give the array or collection to the loop, it will start picking one by one value from the array and returns to you now. Array. It is just like a gun and a barrel of bullets. It is just like a gun and a barrel of bullets. Okay. So you have a gun and a barrel of bullets. You fill the barrel now and start firing. Once you start firing, what will happen? One by one bullet is released from the gun, right? Yes or not? One by one bullet is released from the gun. One by one bullet will be released from this particular gun. That's what exactly happens now. Okay, now tell me. Okay. So for each loop is also same thing only. For each loop is your gun and the array is the barrel of bullets now. For each loop is your gun and the array is the barrel of bullets. Once you start firing, what will happen? One by one value will be released to you. It will give you one by one value by assigning the value to I. By assigning the value to I. Are you clearer or not? First time, first value, second time, second value, third value, fourth value. Each value will come now to I, and that I is what I printed there. The advantage, you know, no need initialization, no need condition, no need iteration. When you load the barrel into the gun, do you require to tell to the gun from where to start, where to end? Tell me. Do we program anything to the gun telling you start from the first bullet, end at the 10th bullet? We don't tell. We just simply start firing the bullets. Once you start firing the bullets, automatically one by one bullet will be released. Here also, one by one value will be released from it. Now, let's compare both the two things. Let us compare both the two things. Difference between accessing the values by using for loop and for each loop. Difference between accessing the values by using for loop and for each loop. First, let's talk about the for loop. In the for loop, the loop variable. Tell me what is the loop variable in for? I is the loop variable. In for loop, the loop variable refers to index of the array. Correct or not? In a for loop, what is I? I is value or index? I is index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But in a for each loop, it refers to values. In a for each loop, it refers to values. Observe, understand the difference I'm telling you. In a for loop, I'm trying to print I. In a for loop, I'm trying to print I. If you try to print I there, okay, observe what it prints. What is it printing here? Values or index? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is values. Index. It is not printing values. What is it printing you? Index. In a for each loop? Values. That's the first difference between for loop and for each loop. See, today values are 0 here. Tomorrow values can be something 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, anything. But that refers directly to the values. But in the first case, it refers to index. That is the first difference between a for loop and a for each loop. So that's why here we cannot write I. What you should write? ARR of I. We should write ARR of I. Now you see the values. Okay, ARR of I means ARR of 0, ARR of 1, ARR of 2, ARR of 3, ARR of 4, and ARR of 5. And that will print you the results to you. But when you come to for each loop, the loop variable directly refers to the values only, not to the index. That is what I explained you. When the loop starts running, one by one value is assigned to I. When the loop starts running, one by one value is assigned to I. So I refers to values, not to index. First point clear? Second point, by using for loop, we can access values as well as we can assign values also. What is assigning values? Array, now all are zeros here. I want to assign some values to it now. What do you want to assign? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I want to assign. I can use for loop and assign now. I can use for loop and assign. Watch the code. Now I'm explaining you assigning values to a single dimensional array by using for loop. Now I'm telling you how to assign the values. In the first one, I explained you how to access. Now it is how to assign by using for loop. Watch the for int I equals to 0, I less than 6, I plus plus, I plus plus. Now see ARR of I equals to 10. If I assign like this, what is assigned? All the 6 are assigned with 10 now. All the 6 cells are assigned with 10. Okay, watch the output. All are 10s. All 6 are assigned with 10 now. But I want to assign it like this here. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. We start with 10, increment by 10 and assign. Start with 10, increment by 10 and assign. This is the requirement. Okay, we'll do it. To do that, first here, I'm declaring one variable. What is the variable? X. What is the value? 0 is my value. Now let me come to the code, and here I'm writing X plus equals to 10. And here I'll say X. Now what happens here when the loop runs for each iteration, X is incremented by 10 now. First it is 0. First time it will become 10 assigned to first cell. It will become 20 assigned to second cell. The loop runs now and the values are assigned to each and every cell. So starts with 10, increments by 10 and assigns. So what are the values now? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Recompile and execute. Watch. Got it? Yes or not? So one thing I'm clarifying here. For can be used for accessing the values. For can be used for assigning the values. In the first example, I shown you accessing, and in the second example, I shown you assigning. But when you talk about a for each loop, guys, for each loop can be used only for accessing the values, not for assigning the values. I already said you that point only yesterday also. For each loop is especially designed for accessing the values from arrays and collections. You can only access the value. Assignment cannot be performed with a for each loop. Are you clear or not? Understood? What is the first difference? The first difference is in a for loop, the loop variable refers to index. In a for each loop, the loop variable refers to values. Second difference. For loop can be used for accessing as well as assigning also, whereas for each loop can be used only for accessing, cannot be used for assigning. Okay. Third difference. What is the third difference, Look here. I'm declaring 3 different types of arrays now. I'm declaring 3 different types of arrays now. What is that? One integer array, one double array, one string array. Okay, look at this, guys. I'm going to declare 3 arrays now. Int IARR is equals to, I'm assigning values now. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Next, I'll go with one double array. Double DARR is equals to okay now. Next, one string array. String SARR is equals to 3 arrays. Now I want to print the values by using for loop. I want to print the values by using the for loop. How do you write? For int I equals to 0, I less than how much? 5. Array, you can write like this here. Without directly writing 5, I can write IARR dot length is 5 now. Okay? I plus plus. Same way. For int I equals to 0, I less than DARR dot length I plus plus. For int I equals to 0, I less than SARR dot length I plus plus. One thing you noticed that these are three different types of arrays, but the data type of the loop variable is always int only. That doesn't change. Correct or not? The data type of the loop variable is always int only. Because your array is a double array, you won't take for double D is equals to 0, D less than, or you won't take a string S is equals to 0 and S less than. You cannot. That will be integer only. Understood my point or not? But when you come to for each loop, what is the difference? You know, watch. For each int I in IARR. For each double D in DARR. Now you tell. For each string S in SARR. Now understood? The third difference is this only. What is the third difference? You know, in a for loop, the data type of the loop variable will always be int only. The data type of the loop variable will always be int only, irrespective of the type of values in the array. Irrespective of the type of values in the array. Whereas when you come to for each loop, the data type of the loop variables is, what is the array? Will be same as the type of values in the array. If your array is integer array, we declare integer here. If your array is a double array, we declare double here. If your array is a string array, we declare string here. Did you understand me, all of you? Three differences I explained you between a for loop and a for each loop while accessing the array values. Watch this picture, all of you, to understand how a for each loop runs. This is your loop variable, right? And these are the values in the array: 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And this is the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When the loop starts running, for the first iteration, 10 is assigned to I. Second iteration, 20 is assigned to I. Third iteration, 30 is assigned to I. Fourth iteration, 40, fifth iteration, 50, sixth iteration, 60. Now I is holding the value, I is holding the index. I is holding the value or I is holding the index. It is holding the value. Because it is holding the value, the data type should match now. If int only can hold integer value, double only can hold double value, string only can hold string value. But when you come to for loop, I is not going to hold the value, I is going to hold the index, and index is always integer starting from 0 to n minus 1. So that's why there every time int only will come. Okay, na? Okay. Next. Yeah, this is the second thing what I said, you know. Differences between for loop and for each loop in accessing the array values. Okay, just a second. You can read it from here. Come on, read. First one. In case of for loop, loop variable refers to index. For each loop, loop variable refers to values. Second difference. For loop can be used for accessing, assigning of the values also. For each loop can be used only for accessing the values but cannot be used for assigning the values. Third one. The data type of loop variable is always int only, irrespective of the type of values in the array. Whereas in case of a for each loop, the data type of loop variable will be same as the type of values in the array. The same as the type of values in the array. What type of values are in the array? This also will have the same type now. That's the example code what I shown you already now. Okay now? Here we used all integers only, but here int double string. Clear? So if your requirement is just accessing the values, for each loop is the best option. For each loop is the best option. No need to specify the initialization. No need to specify the condition. No need to specify the iteration. Just hand over the array to the loop. Loop will do the remaining things for you. Okay now? Fine. Now, see, here we'll have a doubt here. What is this length? Array, sorry guys. Here we used length here. What is this length? You said ARR dot length, ARR dot length. What is this length? Okay, let me clarify. Actually, in our libraries, under the same system namespace, we are having a class called, we have a class guys, system namespace only. What is the class you know? Array. Did you understand me or not? Under the libraries, within the same system namespace, we have a class. What is the class? Array. Array is the class what you have. Array class. And this class array provides you a set of members using which we can perform some actions on arrays. This will provide you a set of members using which we can perform actions on an array. Like what? Look here. In this class, there is a method, a predefined method called as sort. By calling this method, we can sort the values of an array. You remember, if at all you want to sort the values of an array, we have different algorithms what we learned in the C language. Bubble sort, quick sort. Like this, 5 or 6 algorithms are explained for you in the C, and we can use them and we can sort them. But here a single statement called sort, array sorted. What you require to pass, you know? You're required to pass the array whose values has to be sorted. Array, you have an array now. Whose values to be sorted? Should we pass it there? It will sort and give you. That's it. Next, if at all you want to, there is a method called reverse. By calling this, you can reverse the values of an array. By calling this, you can reverse the values of an array. Okay, what it takes? Same. There is a method called as copy. By calling this, you can copy the values from one array to another array. It takes 3 parameters, guys. What are the 3, you know? First one, array source, means from where. Second, array destination, to where you want to copy na. From where to where? First one is from where. Second one, to where. Third, how many values you want to copy. How many values you want to copy. You need to tell that by using n. Okay. Next. Next, there is a method called get length. Get length. What it takes? Dimension. It takes you dimension. Actually, guys, we use this get length method. For 2-dimensional arrays. We use this get length method for 2-dimensional arrays. For what, sir? To find out the number of rows and columns. To find out the number of rows and columns. You have a 2-dimensional array with a size of 5 by 10. 5 rows, 10 columns. In your code, you want to find out the number of rows or the number of columns, you can call that method. What it tells me, rows or columns, that depends upon the dimension you pass there. If dimension is 0, dimension is integer here. If it is 0, it will tell you the number of rows. If I pass 1, it will tell you the number of columns. Means the same method is going to tell you the number of rows also and number of columns also. Point clear or not? The same method is going to tell you the number of rows also and number of columns also. Rows also it will tell, columns also it will tell. Understood my point or not? So that is the use of the get length method, which will tell you the number of rows and columns that are associated with your method. Okay. So the change should be the dimension value. 0 refers to rows, 1 refers to columns. Okay. We did not talk about 2-dimensional. When I show you 2-dimensional, I'll tell you how to use it. There is another thing called length. Length. What will tell you? Array, that is the same length what I used here. What it will tell you? It will tell you the number of cells in the array. What it tells you? Number of cells in the array. Suppose it is single dimensional, number of columns. If it is 2-dimensional, number of rows into columns. All cells it will tell you. Did you understand me or not? It will tell you total cells. You have a array now. The array is 4 by 5. 4 rows, 5 columns. Total cells 20. Length will tell you that only. How many cells? Total cells it will tell you. If it is single dimensional array, number of columns. If it is 2-dimensional array, rows into columns. That's what it tells you. Okay. These are all predefined members that are present in the array class. We can consume them in our applications now. We can consume them in our applications. Okay. And listen carefully. Huh? What is the first one? Sort. What is sort? Sort is a method. See guys, whenever I list you members, if I use braces there, that's a method. If I use braces, that is a method. Method is nothing but function. Reverse. What is reverse? What is that? Method only. Braces there na. Is also method. This is also method. But look at the length. Is length a method? No, it's not a method. Then what is it? It is a property. What is that? Field here. Field doesn't have braces. Who will have braces? Method only will have braces. Field doesn't have a brace. It's a field. It's just like a field. But we call that as a property. We call it the property. Okay. So property is nothing but a field. So these are the members that are defined for you under the array class, and we can consume in your code wherever you want. For example, look at this, all of you. Let me write another program. Already previous one is SDArray 1. Now I am writing SDArray 2. Using system class SDArray 2. Now I wanted to declare one array now. I wanted to declare one array with a set of elements. Look. I wanted to declare an array with a set of elements in it. So this is an array, what I'm just declaring, and this array contains a set of items in it. So randomly, I have picked some values. How many values are present there, I don't know, but randomly, I have picked some values there and stored in the array. Okay, now, first thing I want to do is, I want to print the values of this array by using for loop. Already explained you know. I want to print the values by using a for loop. That's what I want to do. Okay, let's write the code. For. In the previous example, you written I is equals to 0, I less than 6. Correct? But I'm sorry guys, I is equals to 0, I less than 6. Because there the size is 5. But here the size is not 6, more than. I cannot count. Directly I can call arr.length I plus plus console dot write I plus space console dot right line. Watch. The CSC SDArray 2 dot CS. Sorry guys, I printed I there, not I na. What should I print? ARR of I. If I is printed, see that, referring to index. Values. First value is 54, last value is 96. Check. Can you print me these values in a sorted order now? I want to get in a sorted order. Yeah, you can. What to do? Look. Array dot sort. Sort what? Sort the values of ARR. Array dot sort and sort the values of ARR. Array values are sorted. Now I'm reprinting it. Now I'll print by using for each loop. Now I'll print by using for each loop. For each int I in ARR. Console dot write I. Again. Okay. That sorted order. Ascending or descending? I want descending. I want descending. Want descending? Yeah, I want descending. Then simply array dot reverse. Reverse ARR. Ascending order, descending order. Okay, now? Next. I'm declaring one new array here. Int BRR is equals to new int of 12. So what is the size of the array? 12. 12 is the size of the array. And you remember guys, you did not assign any values to it. So default values are 0. Default values are 0. If I print values of BRR, what did it print you? All 12 zeros. All 12 zeros. But what is my intention, you know? The first seven values of ARR, I want to copy into BRR. The first 7 values of ARR, I want to copy into BRR. Okay, you can copy. How? Array dot copy. From where you want to copy? From where? ARR. To where you want to copy? BRR. How many values you want to copy? That only said you. Source, target, and the number. Okay. Now you copied 7 values. And remaining will be zeros only. And 2 points I want to tell you. Point number 1. You can copy only from the first. You can copy only from the first. You cannot copy randomly or you cannot copy from the middle. And you can copy only to the first. Means I want to copy the first 7 values into the last 7 cells. Not possible. First to first only. Are you clear or not? Okay. And one more thing I just want to clarify you here. What? When I call sort, it is going to sort the values of the array, right? When I call sort, it is going to sort the value of the array. And all of you put this in the mind. Sort method will sort the values of the array. Sort method will sort the value. Once it sorts, the original arrangement will change off. The original means it won't create another copy to you. Sorting is done on the same copy. Sorting is done on the same copy. Sir, can I revert back? No chance again. Can I revert back to original again? No chance. Array, if there is another copy, then old copy, new copy, separate copies are there. But you cannot revert. I call reverse. When I call reverse, again the values are reversed. Or I call sort, values are sorted. Again, they cannot be reverted back to the original because it won't create you separate copies. All this arrangement is done on the one copy only. Don't forget these points. Is it clearer, everyone? Okay. So except one method, I shown you remaining 4. Except one, I showed you remaining 4. What I did not show you? And I said you getLength can be used only on 2-dimensional arrays. You can use getLength only on the 2-dimensional arrays. That's why I did not use getLength. I shown you sort, I shown you reverse, I shown you copy, and I shown you length also. So tomorrow, let us learn 2-dimensional arrays. When I teach you 2-dimensional arrays, I'll explain you about the getLength method. Okay now? Let's stop it here, guys. We'll meet tomorrow.